to the final online version of 20 Question Tuesdays before we move to Patreon. Sorry, I was just switching up my new lights. They're a little bit, I don't know, it almost looks like a green screen now. It's weird, the lights in here. How's everybody doing? Let's get her started. For those who don't know, 20 Question Tuesdays started out as I just flipped on my camera one day early on during the pandemic, and I started taking questions from the audience. And it was really, really, really great because people tuned in from all over the place. People tuned in from literally all over the world. And it was really, really great. Now, this time slot has not been working out so great because basically most people are back to work now. So I'm moving 20 Question Tuesdays to a Patreon-only subscription thing. So this is the last one that we'll have on... yeah, there was no pre-roll today. Sorry about that, Randy. Just because it's just me. It's just me taking questions today. Just like the original, I figured I would do the last one this way. And you could talk to me about songwriting, and you could talk to me about the music business. You could talk to me about what's going on. And I'm here for you this hour, everybody. That's the basic bottom line. But it was really, really great because, when Sheila Steele so graciously asked from Austin Music Television if I would do this online, if I would do this for the television channel, Austin Music TV, I had to get like an app for streaming and stuff. And I noticed that there was a button with a little person down in the bottom of it and a little shape of a person. And I was like, oh, cool. So I can invite guests. And just immediately I started inviting guests every single week. I think my first was Michael O'Connor. Then I had like Jamie Harris and Scrappy Judd Newcomb, and then Ray Wiley Hubbard and Ruthie Foster. And it's come to almost, I'd say, more than a year and a half of shows that right now are archived on YouTube, as well as on... I think a couple weeks back on Twitch and on Facebook for like forever. YouTube and Facebook, there's like, I don't know, maybe 70 interviews. I don't know. It's something really, really monumental like that. But for now, if anybody has any questions, or I'm just going to talk about what's going on this week with me and moving this to Patreon. And why I think that's a good idea and all that kind of stuff. So if you're out there and you've got any questions, let me know. And I am here to answer them for you. I just put up some new lights in here because the other ones were just making me look kind of yellow. But moving to a subscription basis over on Patreon seems to be the thing to do. For those of you who don't know, for the future, every month I put out stuff on Patreon. This month, believe it or not, tomorrow, you will get to hear a crazy, crazy sort of Jimi Hendrix influenced rock style version of a Taylor Swift song that I covered. Not kidding. So we can talk about that. We can talk about my many instruments. We can talk about what it's like live streaming. Or I can just sit here for an hour and do what I used to do when I first turned these on. Randy, I see you're out there with me. How are things in Dripping Springs? I hope you're doing well out there. It's like a deluge here. I don't know. I'm supposed to fly back to Texas tomorrow. I'm supposed to do some private parties. Let's see. I've got Corpus, and I've got Houston for a birthday party, and then I've got this really, really cool thing for Texas Search and Rescue on Saturday night. And then Sunday I'll be over with the Resentments, those who want to find me and see me there. But until then, I got some new speakers in here too. I'm kind of hoping this piano's sounding good. That's not bad. Can't really see it in the view though, huh? Let me see if I can get get that back down there, Lynn. Now, you really can't see the piano much. Oh, there you go. You can see it a little bit. Piano sounds good, huh? Larry King, which of your songs would you recommend for a caged player like me? That's a great question. Why don't we start with, let's see. Love is Love is pretty close. If I were to teach you Love is Love, then you'd be looking at a guitar in the key of A. I don't know, that's the first one I'm thinking of. So if you've got A, right? And the riff is just this thing that kind of walks up. That's basically the riff that started the song. Of course, inspired lyrics by that speech that Lin-Manuel Miranda gave after the awful tragedy, the Pulse nightclub shooting. He gave a speech and it went viral. And he said that thing that all the old hippies said, love is love, love is love, love is love. And it was beautiful. And so I wrote that song. But the other chords, besides that, which is just everything for the verse, Give me feel hard for Jamie. Jamie fell in love with Jay. That's all pretty easy. But love, that's G, is love. That's just a D with an F sharp in the bass. You can play that with your thumb, or you can play it like I do, the way I learned from Willis Allen Ramsey, like that. It's just a version of D, basically. Is love. And then love is love is love. That's just an E. So that's a pretty easy song to start with. If you want to know a Plank song. Also, let's see. I don't know, anything is pretty easy. Of course, the bridge is a little harder. Larry, is there another song that you'd like me to show you? Because I'm more than happy to do that. And, I'm just here for your questions for this last one. It's been such a really, really beautiful journey doing the old 20 Question Tuesdays with all the guests I've had over the years. Also, anybody has questions on slide songs or any of the new piano songs that I've written or anything like that, please go ahead and ask. Larry, I hope that helps a little. I'm trying to think of other songs. Trouble Find Me has got way too many chords in it, but they're all easy chords. Sleeping Dogs, a lot of chords. It's pretty much 1, 4, and 5, but then a B minor. You're out of Caged. I think Caged is just such a great place to start with any guitar player. If you're a guitar player and you don't know what Caged is, I've had so many people over the years say, hey, where do I start? Where do I start? C, A, G, E, and D. And they don't have that much relationship to each other in that it just spells caged. But those are the 5 positions that so much of guitar comes from. So many of your scales come from that. So many of your bar chords come from caged. Like if you take a little E chord like this, and then you switch your fingers so that your first finger's free and you just play it with your other fingers, well, that's how you get bar chords that you can move up the neck. So caged is really, really useful for that. We took an E, we switched the finger, we moved it up the neck. This is great. The original time when I first started out with the 20 Question Tuesdays, this is the kind of thing that would, people would ask questions about everything, about being on the road, about songwriting, about why do a Patreon page, about what are you doing during the pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. And so please keep those questions coming. I have been playing a whole lot of piano and writing a bunch of songs on piano right now. I've recorded some. I'm not really ready to put any of them out yet. They sound good, but not great. But sorry. Hope that's not a horrible view. It's that lack of professionalism that makes me so level. Who's calling me? Don't call me during the show. That's against the rules. Anyway, also I want to thank I haven't even had a chance to thank Kirby over at AustinCityJams.com. That's another place where this show has been frequenting and been really, really great to have him putting us on for the whole time. Lisa Morales was my guest last week. Week before that was Jane Ellen Bryant. And you know, it's just been really, really wonderful kind of keeping you guys um, entertained and stuff through what was the lockdown. So, if you guys want, also, I'm going to ask you a question, which is, so if I'm moving to Patreon, should I also give like a paid option for anybody who's not on Patreon? Like, I don't know, they can watch this show for $5 or something like that. Um, but basically to keep it alive, you know? Oh, okay. Question number 2. Here's question number 2 from Larry. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Do you think Patreon is a good format for writers, artists, and such? We are in a really, really interesting time right now where we're moving to a lot of digital stuff. Like, don't laugh when I say NFT, because there's a really, really, really good chance that NFTs are going to turn out to be great for musicians, because we're not going to need labels and because you can actually get involved. But before we get into NFTs, which a lot of us like myself don't even know how to do yet, we have things like Patreon, which basically means you get a subscription to me, okay? And they start at like $3 a month. And that means tomorrow when my song comes out on Patreon, you get it before it's on Spotify, before it's on Bandcamp, before it's on anything else. And not only are you getting all of the music first from me, but you're also getting behind the scenes stuff. You get to kind of say, hey, I really love that song. I'd love to hear that on an album. Hey, I love this direction you're going into. Oh, I miss the acoustic stuff you're doing. This electro stuff is cool, but I also like that. And it really, really feels like it's much, much, much more interactive, Larry, in that when I put out my post tomorrow, you can comment on it and give me feedback, hopefully positive, hopefully constructive. We do get some snarky people in there every once in a while, but it's pretty rare. And it's just a beautiful thing. What I like about Patreon as a format is that it's me to you, nothing in between. And I don't have to worry about anything except putting stuff up there and it goes directly to you. And it's the same thing. Like if you're gonna get merch from me on there, or if you're going to find out about special events, or you're gonna get live streams, like you're gonna get 20 Question Tuesdays will be on there from now on, starting this month, etc., etc. There we go. There's a really, really nice. Let's check out this. Ronnie. Hey, Ronnie, what's going on, man? It's been a minute. Patreon is great. I have supported various people on Patreon. It's cool. Make sure to use the extra features. It's a great place for your most ardent supporters, fans. I would still leave the door open. So, you're going to finish this. You're going to add to this, aren't you, Ronnie? What are the extra features? I want to know what the extra features are. Are you saying that the people who are fans should use the extra features, or I should use the extra features? The features I've been using basically are just, I put up music, I put up polls, I put up behind the scenes stuff, I put up ask people what they think about songs, stuff like that. But maybe there's more because these things move so fast that I don't even know about. Ronnie, tell me more. Tell me more. I'm interested. And I also want to make sure too that it cut the rest of the post, but things like blog posts you can do, videos, yes, exactly. Yeah. So like sometimes I cut a video of I just happened to be in town at Gabriel Rhodes' house, and he's a great producer and he has a beautiful studio. So we put up a video of us playing the song Wait, and everybody on Patreon gets to have it first, you know, and uh, they get a special version of a song that just doesn't exist anywhere else. And then if it's really good and people really love it, then I'll put it out on YouTube, which is what I eventually did with that. Some people also do a private forum or Discord server that's for Patreon only. Now, that's interesting to me, Ronnie. I don't really know much about Discord, but the private forum, um, I mean, really, yeah, I should mark that down because because my understanding was that if they wanted to talk about anything, they could just do it all over my posts. But I guess they could put something else and talk about things. So private forum on Discord. I'm interested in that for sure. But back to the original question that Larry, yeah, I think it's amazing. Okay. Discord is just another way to do a private forum with more features. Hopefully it doesn't cost anything. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I follow writers on Patreon. I kind of did this thing where I would follow back musicians because then it would be no cost to me and no cost to them, and then we could also like we could also comment on each other's stuff and let people know that we were interested in what they were writing. Now, sometimes I follow people and they don't follow me back, and it's like, oh well, I guess I just follow you. But I wish they would. Um, but I follow a bunch of people on Patreon. Yeah. Let's see. I follow Jamie Harris. I follow the South Austin Moonlighters. I follow Tucker Livingston. I follow Betty Sue. I follow Guy Forsyth. Yeah, many of the people who have been on this show I follow on purpose. Um, and yeah, and I'm curious too, as I continue and move on to Patreon, I think this 20 questions thing that I usually do with other people will be like, more like a once a month thing that's really, really special. And it'll be hopefully at a better time because this has turned out to be a not so great time anymore. So I'm going to move it to like, 8 o'clock on a Tuesday in Central Time once every month. And hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more of them on location. I was able to do one at the Mucky Duck with Gabriel Rhodes that turned out really, really, really great. Um, oh, Larry, you're looking at a format to share pros. Patreon is a great place that you could do that. Absolutely. And you could start off with as low as $1 subscriptions, or even free for certain stuff that's public. And people who wanted more could get more if they ask for a heavier subscription and stuff like that. Like I'll tell you this too, like basically all the money that I make on Patreon right now, it just kind of keeps me going, um or I put it back into the songs. Like for instance, for this month's really, really cool cover, I enlisted Lang Freeman, who's a really, really, really great producer, and he just took all of the tracking that I did of multiple instruments and made it sound much more beautiful and made it sound much more professional. Um, I couldn't afford to do that just on a whim. So I took my Patreon money basically for like a month and a half, which instead of going to bills like it usually does, went to working on something special musically. And I dig it for sure. Oh, it's good to know that Discord's free. Okay, that's interesting. I follow a guy named John Roderick. He's a writer and musician, but primarily a podcaster these days. Yeah, it's funny. When I started doing 20 Question Tuesdays, it was really, really huge. Now, a year and a half later, everybody has a podcast, and it's pretty insane. And I'm just still doing it because it's a labor of love. But oh, Ronnie, thanks for that. Thanks for that right there. I'm gonna save that little deal. That's fantastic. Thank you. All right. Well, I'll have to look that up later, but thanks. It won't let me cut and paste it right now. All right. So, who else has questions out there? This is going along swimmingly right now. We've already covered some topics about music. We've covered a little bit about Patreon. I'll put that up there again. If anybody wants to follow my Patreon, I need you. I want you. It really, really helps. I'm also going to do some live streams there. Also, believe it or not, you guys, I just started a TikTok, and you have to get over 1,000 people before you can start doing lives. I just got over 1,000 people, I don't know, about a week ago. And so I'm going to do a whole bunch of live streams where I write Christmas songs, basically for 12 days leading up until uh, Christmas. So if you're a TikTok fan, man, I didn't think I was going to dig it, but it's kind of crazy. The community on there is really fantastic. So please find me. It's probably just the plank on TikTok, and you can get on there. I do all sorts of weird things on TikTok now, and never thought I would get into it. I thought it was a little bit for younger folks, but it's not. It's not at all. As soon as I got on TikTok and started, liking things that I liked, like basically dogs, comedy, music, and kind of like positive affirmation stuff. I'm kind of a sucker for that. Like when people get on and they say like not hippy dippy stuff, but when people tell like really good stories and stuff in 30 seconds or a minute or 3 minutes, those are the things that started showing up on my page. um so the weird overlord algorithms are actually working kind of for good. Yep. Hey, there it is. That must be me. Yeah, it should be two underscores. Thanks, Ronnie. I appreciate that. And I just noticed, I think maybe that was you who just followed me over there. I love it when people put stuff in the comments. All right. I've left Facebook and Insta behind for mostly. Definitely a place where all the cool stuff is happening right now. I feel the same. I basically do the bare minimum on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Facebook and Instagram, I pretty much just put up posts about what I'm doing, maybe a few things like here comes a tour, here's this show coming up, stuff like that. Twitter, I just like being snarky and I like messing with people and I like things that make me laugh. I like witty little quips. Um, and kind of stay away from the politics because it just drives me nuts. Not that I mind speaking my mind about politics. I'm not one of those people who says shut up and sing. Quite the opposite. I want you to sing about whatever you believe in. And then I have the choice as to whether or not I listen. Uh, but TikTok seems like a place where a lot of people are getting a lot of their own stuff out there. It's really really great, and I dig it. And they also kind of build their own little communities around the world. So that's kind of a cool thing. I'm really digging being on TikTok. Kate Howard, I recently read about a 40 something musician who heard Pink Floyd's Wall for the first time last week and it blew his mind. What music did you hear for the first time late-ish in life that blew your mind? That's a really great question, as usual, Kate, with the great question. I always appreciate your questions so much, and I hope that you're going to be able to join me because I know you follow me on Patreon. I know that, or I'm pretty sure you do, and we got to make sure. Okay, because of course, Kate, I should be following you wherever you are. There's a lot of stuff that came late in life. Every time I'm playing a Resentments gig and Miles Zuniga pulls out a classic rock song that I never heard before, he always acts like, he's kind of a, snarky, like, how did you live under a rock? How do you not know this obscure David Bowie song from his 36th album? That kind of stuff just constantly blows my mind because we'll never ever be able to. And I'm like, dude, you don't know the Parliament songs that I've been listening to since I was 18, and you should, you know. But yeah, I'll tell you one thing that I just mentioned the other day is uh, somebody asked me. Oh, I was on Jack Barksdale's podcast. Young Jack Barksdale has a new single coming out, and I actually co-wrote it with him. So his podcast will be on December 3rd, and that song is called Sideways. It's coming out really soon. So I was on his podcast, and he said, what are you listening to, et cetera, et cetera. I was really late to the party with Greyhounds. And Greyhounds out of Austin. I can't believe, I'm just too busy, I guess, out there playing gigs and stuff like that. And we were always like, oh, have you heard these guys? And I'd see them around town with their their suits, and they're always, kicking butt, and they're playing here and they're playing there. When I finally did a deep dive into Greyhound's music, I was beyond blown away. And I'm so influenced it by it that it is kind of like sent me back in a soul slide direction because my last two EPs, Covered Uncovered Volume 1 was kind of like solo acoustic coffee house kind of, guy playing in the corner kind of music. And Covered Uncovered Volume 2 was all kind of re-envisioning an acoustic jug band. So I've had this need to go back, especially with my friend Yogi passing and reconnecting with that whole soul community. Soul music, blues music, rock music that kind of has that tinge of my 2016 album Soul Slide. I'm kind of going back to it because we all kind of go through phases. But I was late to the game with Greyhounds. I know that they're not exactly what you're talking about, but I just wanted to mention that because, man, I hope they keep going. I hope they keep kicking butt. But, they've been around 10 years or so, and I'm just now coming to the party with that. Pardon me. I know another one. I know another one that is a great, great, great um, oh, I don't know if it's the Greyhounds NY. Is that? I think it's Greyhounds, not the Greyhounds. Yeah, let's double check. Greyhounds Austin. They would be greyhoundsmusic.com. That's who we're talking about. Let's not do I don't think that New York one, that's a different Greyhounds, just so you know. Ah, more Soul Slide, Elizabeth Fullman says. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's definitely the direction of a lot more stuff. But Kate, I was super, super late to the game with Radiohead. I mean, super late to the game. Like all of my friends are saying, "Oh, you gotta listen to this. Oh, you gotta listen to this," and just no time. It's out there. I get it, but it wasn't really super, super popular on the radio, and I was busy doing my own thing. I was really, really immersed in the Americana world, especially when OK Computer came out, and I've gone back to the Radiohead stuff, kind of like, especially because like about a year ago I heard Scott Strickland doing a Radiohead song, and I was like, I really need to do another deep dive on them because I think I've really missed the boat. I missed the whole thing, and with Tom York and everything being so amazing. So yeah, I was really, really late with Radiohead, but I'm constantly going back and finding things. um there's not a lot of stuff that like I didn't like and then I gave it another listen and I liked it, but most of it I just missed. You know, every musician I know loves Radiohead for sure. Yeah, they're kind of like the opposite of the Dead. Like musicians don't usually like the Grateful Dead. Musicians almost always love Radiohead. Why is that? I don't know. Jamming as opposed to through compositions. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Musicians don't usually like the Dead. It's very rare. Um, but they tend to like, no, there's plenty of talent in there. I mean, they're playing great songs, I will say as I get older, I'm a lot less snooty about music for sure. Like, no question. Like, I really feel like the older I get, I'm like, what do I know? Like I've done what I've done and somehow I've been able to make it a career in music and I'm thrilled. And I also really, really love kind of where I'm at right now. I got no label and I have a great career. I work really hard. I work more than 40 hours a week to survive. And sometimes it's stuff like this, where maybe I'm going to make $50 for getting on in an hour from $5 here and $10 there if I'm lucky. And, but between, I'm teaching a lesson today. That's great. And I'm going to come back and play a bunch of private parties this weekend in Austin with great bands and do a Resentments gig on Sunday night. And I'm going to do Purgatory Players on Sundays so I can get my charity vibe on and, try and raise some money for the food bank. I hear the Purgatory Players did really, 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 really well with their gospel turkey this year. I started the Purgatory Players with uh, Scrappy Judd Newcomb about 10 years ago. And man, it's just still going strong and it's still beautiful. And I haven't been as much involved in it since I've been up here through the lockdown primarily. I've only played a couple of shows, like maybe two in the last year and a half. Yeah, tours are starting to open up again. We still have to be careful. It's primarily the unvaccinated that are getting sick. I'm done, you guys. I'm done trying to spread the message of love and please trust science. I've seen people die. I've seen anti-vaxxers get really, really sick and really, really die and really, really die. I mean, I have. It's not baloney. It's not a conspiracy theory. And those of you who are getting sick from COVID because you didn't get vaccinated, you are filling up the hospital for and pushing out people who are really sick for things that, and it just pisses me off. But now you are the control group, and I have no sympathy for you. I'm sorry. I'm done. Get the damn vaccine. Try and look out for your fellow human beings. I can't do it anymore. It's just exhausting trying to explain to people this thing, or the fact that they call it, you know, tyranny when they have to wear a mask. I'm like, please give me a break. Yeah, until people get the act together, there will still be these new mutations. That's exactly right. You know, and there will always be mutations. But basically, here's the last thing that I wanted to talk about here today. But if you are 12 times less likely to contract COVID or to be in the hospital if you get a vaccine, then get a freaking vaccine. 12 times less. You're 12 times less. That's the science. That's the end of the story. Get it, look out for everybody else, and shut up about this tyranny stuff. You know, my wife traveled in Africa when she was young, and she went country to country and got different vaccines when she went country to country so she didn't spread diseases. People make me nuts. Okay, anyway, that's enough of that. Back to music and back to, we raised over 2K that day. That's right, but there were matching donors. There was like a matching donor and then another donor who put in something big. And so after all of that stuff, it ended up being like 48,000 meals, something insane like that. Because $1 equals 4 meals when you go to the Purgatory Players. I'm so sorry, Ronnie, to hear about you having COVID for so long, man. I'm really sorry. Radiohead, yes, labels don't offer the value they used to. Labels pretty much are dead. They only work for anybody who's a little bit bigger. And even if you get on one, you still have to recoup. I don't know, man. I'm pretty happy not having one. If someone came around, maybe I'd be interested. But I kind of love being able to do whatever I want with my music and that people still are out there that like it. So who cares? And people will say, oh, well, Spotify is the great equalizer because if you put out your music and people like it, it will spread. Well, that's bull, because if you look at all of the big playlists, the main three labels are what are all over those playlists. So what? You're going to tell me that just happened because the labels picked the best music? That's bullshit. So we know that it's pay to play. We are back into a pay to play situation with the streaming services. I highly recommend getting a TikTok. I highly recommend getting yourself a Patreon page so you can go directly to your fans like I can. And, make a modest living doing what you love. Yeah, you can easily game Spotify by payola for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody was trying to get me to boost my Spotify numbers, and I did a little work and it helped, and it got my Spotify numbers up that where, I might be on a release radar for somebody. And it's true, you can like solicit other people's playlists. Like I have a playlist called Roots Rock and Americana. And it's been great because whenever my friends have something that falls into that, I put it on there and it'll get them like 500 listens a month because it's got over 500 followers. It took a while to build that up. People constantly message me and say, hey, would you consider my song for this playlist? That's really smart. And I listen to the song, and if it fits, I put it on and I ask them to share it. That's beautiful. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. But when when the person was trying to help me build mine, he was like, yeah, you can pay such and such and they'll put you on this playlist, and this playlist. And I was like, all right, man, I'll try it. And I spent some money and it was hilarious. They took Love is Love and put it as, which is, kind of a roots rock ballad, I guess you might call it. Maybe it's some sort of a ballad. It's certainly not country music. They put it on a hip hop playlist at like number 498. And we wrote them back and we were like, hey, nothing against hip hop, but this song does not fit on your playlist. And they finally wrote us back and said, oh well, we think this is where it should go, and you know we're not giving you your money back, and da 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 da. And so I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would recommend you know anything that you can do for self promotion, do it. Own all your music. Hi, Lady D. How are you? Nice to see you here. Thanks for all this. For all of the times that I have been online doing these shows, Lady D has come on as much as she can and helped say, "Hey, Jeff's making money for his people, and here's his Venmo," and it's been really, really wonderful how I was able through this show to spread out um, all the funds because I used to split all, or on every show I did with somebody else, I either split the tips or I gave it all to them. It was one or the other. Um, and Danielle, you have helped so much with that in this show, and thank you, and all of the other live streams that I did. Now, when I go on to Patreon, though, for those of you who don't follow me on Patreon yet, I think I'm gonna try and do a thing where you can just buy a virtual ticket if you want, and make it, I don't know, $5 or something. Um, but that might not be soon. So your best bet, if you want to continue to see the live streams and you want to continue, is to get on my Patreon, which is right there. Here, I'll put it in here too, just for the 13 of you who are online with me. Patreon.com/Jeff Thank you so much. um, Question though, do you guys think 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night? Because I want to keep the name 20 Question Tuesdays. Central is where I have most of my people, but I want to make sure that the East Coast and the West Coast also get it too. So I'm thinking 8 p.m. Central on a Tuesday once a month with a very special guest will be a good way to do 20 Question Tuesdays. Hopefully that's a decent time for everybody. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a great time or not. Um, Whew, the coffee's hot, which is good. It's a bit of a deluge here, so I don't know if I'm going to make it back tomorrow to Austin, but I'm sure going to try and get on the plane and make it. Yeah, Larry, I think once a month because it's really, 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 really difficult when I'm touring to do it every week. And December, I've only got 6 gigs. December, I only have 6 gigs. But in January, if you look at my website or if you look at bands in town, I'm pretty sure I have like 15, 16 gigs in January. And yeah, I think once a month for a live stream from a cool location, someplace where I've got somebody cool playing with me, once a month doing 20 Question Tuesdays to make it super, super, super special. Um, that's what I think is going to work. And I think Patreon's really the only way for me to go on that. Just the way it is. Everything else just seems to be, everything else besides TikTok is going the way of the dodo. Sorry. Plank, have you looked into the possible benefits of blockchain? This is a really, 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 really important question. Nice to see you, Adrian. I don't know if I'm going to see you when I'm in Austin this weekend because I'm just playing private parties, but let's see if we can hook up. Adrian is not only probably the best graphic artists that I've ever worked with. I'm not just saying that, buddy. For all of the posters and graphics that you've done for me over the years for albums and T-shirts, and like I say, posters. But he's also a really, really great DJ. And if you get up on Sunday mornings on Twitch, you can check out Adrian ATX Quintero doing his Sunday brunch spins, which is just beautiful. Great question, though. Have you looked into the possible benefits of blockchain, smart contracts, and music industry? The answer is I am looking at this like crazy right now because it sounds right. I mean, it sounds like I heard a podcast with a graphic artist that was doing NFTs, and non-fungible tokens means a digital piece. It sounds crazy to everybody, and everybody thinks it's wild. Everybody thinks it's this weird thing. Like, why would I pay for something digital? It's like, well, you have ownership of that, and you can do what you want with it, and you've also helped a musician in a really, really, really huge way. Sorry, let's start with the artist. What's his name? Pop World. Adrian, I'm pretty sure you would know who I'm talking about. Um, Absolutely incredible digital art. Started in the NFT world, blew my mind on a podcast. Pop Wonder, Pop Wonder World. Yeah, man. For artists, I would listen to his interview on the Duncan Trussell podcast. It blew my mind as far as blockchain stuff and as far as how you can have ownership of your own art and sell in a new way, so that like you don't have to sell to a gallery per se, and you create your art and someone buys it, kind of like what I'm doing on Patreon, but even more so. Because what musicians are doing right now is they're creating their own art, which usually, as you know, Adrian, we are not that great at. And they create their own album artwork for something, and they use that as the NFT for the song. I think I'm explaining this right. Um, and then they sell it, or they sell shares in it, or they sell ownership of it, or they sell a percentage of it as it goes up. My problem is I have not found somebody. I'm just in the middle of doing so many other things right now. Like trying to build my TikTok fan base, which is growing. It's got over 1,000 now, and working on my Patreon. I haven't been able to do this, but it's gonna pass me by because very, very soon I think a lot of musicians are gonna be doing this. I really, truly believe. You're calling it blockchain smart contracts. I think you're asking me basically about NFT kind of stuff. And if I'm wrong, tell me. And if that's something else I should be looking into. The more I hear about it, it's really, yeah. Oh, the artists take a percentage of each future sale of the NFT. Great for passive income. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, wait. The artists take a percentage. Let's read this online here. Let's read this on the screen. The artists take a percentage of each future sale of the NFT. Great. Now, why wouldn't they take it all? It's my music. I mean, I don't need a platform to sell it. I mean, if we start doing that, then we're just going to end up going down the exact same road as Spotify. And what's going to happen is people who people who own the platform are going to it's going to be pay to play again. So I don't want to do that. Yeah, man, I'll happily text you that podcast. Duncan Trussell, the guy with Pop Wonder World. Let me make a note and I will text you. Text Adrian podcast. Or we can find it. Somebody can find it online right now and put it in the um yeah, man, I don't there's a lot of them online where they're saying, "Hey, sign up for this and we'll help you make an NFT." Well, if the point is that I'm not supposed to have anybody in between me, I don't want another middleman. I want to make my NFT and I want to sell it to my public. If I put another middleman in there, then all I'm doing is creating this other thing. That sounds bad. NFT. Oh, let's see what Ronnie says. It looks like Ronnie's got some information for us, everybody. Thank you. NFT and smart contracts use the same tech, but it can be a contract for anything. Marsky, I've heard about that. For the shipping contracts, which is really smart. It's a way to track contracts of any type. Yeah, as long as they ain't taking any money and they make their money in another way, then I'm game. Because I don't know how much you guys have basically been hearing about Web3. But Web3 is the other thing. I mean, we are moving into Web3. Web1 was just basically like information. You'd get on, you'd look at AOL, you'd get your news. Web2 is platforms. You know, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you go to these things and they kind of decide what you're going to do. Web3 is we own it all. Web3 is I own all my stuff. And I'm the one who puts it out, and I'm the one who decides where it goes, and I'm the one who makes all the money from it. And if it's anything less than that, I don't want to do it because that's the goal, you know. In my humble opinion, we're talking about so little bit music. I love this. I love this, you guys. Thank you. Maybe I'll be able to do. Tell me this, friends and neighbors, um, because I love these discussions that we end up having on here. Oh yeah, man. Ronnie, it's fine. Ronnie says not to get too mired in blockchain details in this chat, but message me later if you want. I can answer these questions. Please, you know. I mean, honestly, I could send you a link right now, Ronnie, and if you want, you can sign in. You can get on this, and we can talk about it on here because we got another 15 minutes. Um, but uh, if you guys want, I could probably get away with doing like one with a guest per month and um one with uh uh one with a guest and one solo, so where you just have a conversation. All right, Dan Jason, how much does TikTok pay the talkers? Do they run commercials? What's the business model? Here is my understanding and what has happened to me. When I am live, people gift. And when people gift, I make money. It has not been anything substantial yet because I literally just passed the $1,000 mark, right? It was like I think I've made a grand total of $2 on 2 live streams. So it's nothing. But there are people on there with millions of followers. There's definitely people out there that make, $50 to $100,000 a year on TikTok. No question about it. That's a definite thing. There's a lot of jobs out there that people are creating through TikTok. Um, the commercials, so far, all I've seen is that at the beginning, there's an ad when I sign into TikTok. It's annoying. I always skip it. I don't look. Um, Anybody else who wants to chime in on the TikTok business model, please do. All right, one with guest and one solo. I like that idea. Yeah, I'll bet I could do 2 Tuesdays a month. One with a guest, either in this format, and then one solo. I am broadcasting on Twitch. Do I know about the free Amazon Prime people get? No, but tell me, Ronnie. And Ronnie, while you're typing that in, yeah, I've tried to build up a thing on Twitch with this, and I thought it would be great, but I've not been able to build a significant following on Twitch. I think maybe I have 50 followers, if that. Anyone with an Amazon Prime subscription gets a free follow. Cool. Well, if you just want to help me out, go to Twitch or jump over. Ooh, how do we say that without messing with the FCC? There is a Twitch channel that I have, and oh my gosh, they can follow me, and I get $2.50 a month, and it costs them nothing. Wow. Okay. They only get one free subscription on Twitch, or as many as they want with a Prime membership. That's curious. TikTok's best feature is dog videos. I agree. As soon as I got on there, I don't know, because I'm a 48-year-old man, you wouldn't believe the videos that went on my For You page. It was a little on the gross side. But once I started moving along on TikTok, now it's like dog videos, comedians, musicians, and positive affirmation stuff. And like I said, it figured out very, very quickly what kind of content I like and just throws tons of that on there. And then I also have a following page where I can look at what I follow on TikTok as well. But I thought it was going to be just for the young. TikTok is not anymore. There's tons and tons. Every age group is on TikTok. TikTok algorithm is very intuitive. It's scary. Yes, if you want to believe that, look, these things know us better than we know ourselves, and it is creepy. So I don't recommend being, all over it all day every day. I try really hard just to get on once. Maybe a live stream, maybe do a video. And then I'll scroll through maybe later and see what else is going on in there, and that's it. Any more than that, and my brain has been taken away from beautiful things like making music or having a family or having friends. We can't live in the metaverse no matter what Zuckerberg says. You can't live there as much as you want to. Um, it's not a good life. Balancing it out though is great. It's really, really, really cool. All right, we got like 10 more minutes. Let's make sure. Yes, I would love to let people know. If you are an Amazon Prime member, please check out my Twitch page and follow it. That would be amazing. And yeah, and if you're on TikTok, follow me over there because I'm going to be doing 12 days of writing Christmas songs. I was the original Grinch. I did not have, my mom tried so hard, man, to make great Christmases for us when we were kids. She worked her butt off. But a lot of times it was really difficult because we didn't have a lot of money and my dad was gone. He was out of the picture. Now that I've gotten older and I have a beautiful Canadian, wonderful family. Christmas is pretty great around here, and I don't really care about all the hubbub. I just kind of have fun with it. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. I'm not a big fan of organized religion, and I don't think our Christmases really have much to do with that anyway. Not anymore. So I like to have fun on Christmas. I think it's beautiful, and so I'll be getting on and writing Christmas songs for about 12 days straight leading up to Christmas on TikTok. Join me there. I should be doing that on Twitch too, but I haven't figured out. It's such a pain in the. Here's the other pain in the butt. It's like TikTok is just phone. Twitch is just like this, and I have to pay for this restream thing to be on Twitch, which is monthly, and I certainly don't make enough to cover it. You know, um, so I don't know. I'll just keep doing all the things, and I come in and out of them. Best thing you can do is follow me on the thing that you follow and join my Patreon, or just throw me a tip too. That's really helpful. If you don't already know where my music is, you can go to plank.hearenow.com. Everything that is digital is there that I can think of. I have my SoundCloud link, my Bandcamp link, all these things. Yeah. John D has that song, I Hate Christmas. Yeah, I love that song too. I did write for my Patreon last year a song that was like, I bought you a new Jello mold. Or no, you asked me for a band of gold. I bought you a new Jello mold. But it's the thought that counts at Christmas. So it's the thought that counts at Christmas. We'll probably finish that up on the TikTok. It's like all I wanted was to buy you the perfect gift, something so special that all year round would give your spirits a lift. So I'll be working on Christmas songs like that over on TikTok, possibly on Twitch. We'll see. But why do I gotta use so many cameras and so many lights? I know, I'm old, I'm whining. What can I say? Yeah, John D's I Hate Christmas is one of the most brilliant Christmas songs ever. For those of you who don't know, he's like, I hate Christmas away from home, you know. And because everybody's listening, like, and then he just gets you. He gets you. All right, a few more minutes here, everybody. Some last questions to wrap up. This is the final 20 Question Tuesdays that is available for free online and just sponsored by your tips. From now on, you're going to have to go to my Patreon to get it or pay admission. It's one or the other. But this has been a really, really, really wonderful thing. I'm going to do this right now, too, because you guys should know how many people I have had on this show. And I'm just going to go through and thank a few. I'm going to go through and thank just a few of the amazing shows that I have had on 20 Question Tuesdays. Lisa Morales, Jane Ellen Bryant, Violet Lee, Malay, Ray Bonneville, Betty Sue, Tony Camel, Sean Devine, Floyd Domino, Natalie Price, Chris Buhalis, Lloyd Maines, Matt the Electrician, Susan Gibson, Doug Cox, let's see, Jeff Hortilosa from Whiskey Shivers, Alex Ruiz, Bruce Hughes. I mean, these are some of the shows that I've been able to have because of you guys, and it's just been so beautiful. Let's see, who else have we had? We've had Peggy Hanna, Akina Adderley, Allie Holder, Terry Buffalo Ware, Kate Howard, Patrice Pike, Chris Beal, Scott Collins, Kathy McCarty, Carolyn Wonderland, Carolyn Phillips, David Hamburger, Aaron Ivy. These are all still available too right now before I move them. All of those shows. Ray Wiley Hubbard, Ruthie Foster, Jamie Harris, Scrappy Judd Newcomb, all of those you can go back and watch. I will be in Houston, Ronnie, on this week, actually. I'm playing a private party on Friday at Cowboy Surfer with a band. It's a 60th birthday party I'm playing. I think that's private. I don't think there's public for that one, but you can check and see. And I will be playing the Mucky Duck you can check on my website or you can go to Bands in Town. But all that stuff is like, I've got a really, really good setup on my website where it goes right to the tour. Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe on Friday the 14th. That's Galveston. Plank at the Duck, 7 p.m. Early show on Thursday, January 20th. So you can get tickets for that right now, Ronnie. If you want to hit any of that, you just go here or to my Bands in Town. All those ticket links are online. Thanks for asking, by the way. I sure appreciate it. What else? Couple more questions, everybody. We're running out of time. We're running out of time on this very first and last, this last 20 Question Tuesdays before we move it over to Patreon. Thank you, Ronnie. I would love to see you there. It would be really, really great. Let me know if you guys are coming. I'll see what I can do about a table or anything like that. Happy to do it. Let's see. Well, yeah, that's about it. I want to thank AustinCityJams.com. I want to thank Austin Music TV as well. And everybody who's helped me make this show really, really great over the past year and a half. If you want to find out more, you just go to patreon.com/Jeff Plankenhorn, and that's where you can sign up to see more shows. Let's put that in here one more time. And I hope to see you all there. It's only $3 to start. And then, this has been such a blessing. Oh, thanks, Larry. How's that Canadian citizenship going? It's funny. I got a message from him again. Thank you. I got a message from them again. They are now working on the applications from July of 2020. And I applied in September of 2020. Now, I don't want full Canadian citizenship. What I'm trying to do is the dual thing. I'm trying to become a permanent resident like Doneen is in the States. I don't want to give up my U.S. I would like to have both so that I can work in both countries legally, not have to worry about work permits. Makes crossing the border a lot easier, like tomorrow and next week. So that's pretty much what I've been working on. I'm not complaining. A lot of red tape. A lot of stuff has been difficult during COVID and the lockdowns. And they're affording me all the rights of somebody who's already a permanent resident. So I've gotten vaccinated and I have a vaccine passport. Man, you guys, it's the coolest thing ever. America is just being really stupid about this. I want to show you guys this just because it's fantastic. Here is a little picture of my vaccine passport. Okay. Basically, once you do your vaccine passport and stuff, you get a card with your name on it and a QR code. And then that code says it can be checked when I go to a movie theater or I go to a restaurant or I go to anywhere. And people are like, "Oh, it's like the Nazis." It's like, no, 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 no. No. It means that you can feel safe. At least the people around you are vaccinated, for crying out loud. It's simple. That's in BC, in British Columbia. It's so simple, and it makes me feel better when I go play a gig. I have to show it. When I go play a gig, everybody in the bar has to show it. It's simple. It's like, I don't know why we're not doing that. So, Canada, I love it very much. I am a man of two countries. There's a lot of things they do a little bit smarter here. And there's plenty of stuff here that's difficult and challenging as well. But regarding the rollout of the vaccine and regarding taking care of their fellow man, I think they have done a much better job than we did. 600,000 deaths is pretty sad. Okay, so let's not leave on that sad note, though. Back to what Larry King said, and then I'm going to call it for the day. Thanks, everybody, for this. It's been really, really, really important to me to have this. And one more time, here's where you find my music. Here's my website. Here's where you can go to start watching this show in the future. And this is what you can do to just help me out for today. I sure appreciate it. Yeah, I watched Michael Che's new stand-up. That was pretty good. That was really funny. I like what he said about that. Okay, so thank you, everybody, for another wonderful week. And I am so grateful for everything. And take care of each other. I'll see you in Texas this week. I'll see you back in Nanaimo on December 12th for my Canadians. And love and blessings to all of you and your families. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.